Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to show you guys the exact process for using HubSpot, Make.com, and some Gmail to chart going through and automating some of the basic onboarding processes or the initial conversations you're going to do once customers have hit certain stages. Now, the benefit of doing it in this method versus, say, doing it directly within HubSpot, it allows you to, if you wanted, embedding some AI, having a little bit more control of when and how it occurs, as well as using other emails that are outside of the HubSpot ecosystem. Because HubSpot's expensive, it's inefficient in a lot of ways, and using something like Make in your Gmail account can really become a far more efficient use of your time and resources. So in here, what we're using here is a very simple flow today, and hopefully you can use this for yourself and it helps you out quite a bit. So again, the goal of this is when this deal is closed won, so a deal within HubSpot has been marked as closed won, we're going to go and generate and send our onboarding email to the specific assigned contact, right? And so we want to make sure that we send it to that user. And this is a great opportunity where we're transitioning the user from a sales related messaging to maybe the account manager or internal manager to go and send that conversational piece to them, right? This is a great way to transition from one place to the next. So how this basically works is we have a webhook. And a webhook is essentially just a URL that's actively listening for something to be sent to it. And whenever something is sent to it, it then takes that and tries to process it in a way for you to use. And you have all these fancy ways of being able to use that information and reorganize it. But in this instance, it's pretty straightforward. It is just simply looking at HubSpot and going, did these parameters exist? If they do, then let's use that data that it gave me to go through, search for the corresponding deal, get all the information around that deal, pull related company information, pull related contact info, and then use that to go in and curate a customized email that you want to send over to them. So if we want to do this, all we need to do is we need to first go over to HubSpot, go to our settings, come down to integrations, private apps, and then you have, Entity Hub, account creation, right? These are just a custom one. So we just hit create private app, give it a name, right? We give it a bunch of scopes, go through here, click honestly, most of these. Once that's done, you'll then have a place for you to put in your webhook. And how that works is in HubSpot, we discard changes here, or within Make.com, you'll have this webhook section. You can create a webhook when you want to do custom webhook here. And so then you create a webhook. Let's just say example, save, and we're going to copy this information and we're going to put it here. So then what occurs is that we set this up and we get it all approved. And I'm going to go to the other one here just because it's a little bit easier to use for my initial build out. As I've gone through, I've put in all of the scopes that I want to make sure that it has access to. And then I've got the webhook. And so all I'm doing here is whenever I go in, I have a subscription that I created that says when deal, right, is updated or property has been changed, right? And I mark it as deal closed won. So deal stage is moved or updated. Then it runs this webhook. So then this webhook gets fired off. So we're going to discard all of this because I want to just show you the one that we've already got, which is boom. So once that's done, right, here's our webhook. Data comes in. What we're doing here is we want to then pull in the details of that contact. Now, technically, you don't actually need to do this filtering. I just do this filtering, and that is just to look at the deal stage, make sure it's there. What really matters here is we just go to do the following. We click search for deal association. So let's go and list. There we go. List associations. Right? And so that's what this one is. And here we want to say, oh, I want to get all of them. So from object type, what we do here is instead of, I'm going to delete this actually, instead of manually selecting, we mark this as deal, and then we pass through the data that we get from here, which is the object's ID, which is the deal's ID, right? Because we're looking at this private app. Because we're passing in only if this deal has property change, the deal stage. And we're saying, oh, you know, I want to get all this information for that deal. Then we're using that to get all of the deal's information. We want to get all of the individual records that come from that deal, right? Or the properties associated to that deal. And then we're going to go through looking at this one and doing the same thing for companies, and then doing the same thing for contacts. So then what this essentially gives us the ability to do, once we have all the deal, all the company, and all the contact info, is we can then come over and generate a custom email. We'll just say create a draft. And we can create this, you know, onboarding email example. And we're going to say, let's look for first name. Fantastic. Right? So this could be first name's onboarding email. And then we just start putting in the content. Hey, right? First name. This is blank from blank. So happy have you on board. Let's take a moment and next steps and what it all like now that you are with blank company. Step 1, do this, right? Step 2, do this as well, right? And so on and so forth, right? So we could just sit here and pass through and put in all of this information however we want. And then we could just come in, choose the folder, hit save, right? And then we end up having the email that we're going to pass through. So what that ends up looking like is we've got the email, we've got in however that structure is that we want to run. And then all we got to do is hit save. Once you hit save, then we have a whole flow that allows us to automatically run. And how this works here is we'll just set it to immediately run once this webhook has been passed through. So then every single time, right, we can just run this once. And all it's doing here is you actually see that it's not going to do anything, is it's actively waiting for a deal to be marked as closed won, is it will go through, check if the deal exists. If the deal exists, it's then going to capture that deal's data. It's then going to go through, get that deal's info. It's then going to get the company's information. And then you're going to go through, get that contact detail, and then send over an email. Now, what's even better is you can also go through and do the following, and you can actually send a message to your team internally. So you could create a message for maybe a specific channel within your company and go, yo, this client just closed one, check them out, right? Whatever you want to say, right? But let's just say that that's what it is, right? We're going to hit run this module only. And then let's go through. And in here you see the example. So, yo, this client just closed one, check them out. Now, for right now, I'm going to delete this because we don't need it. However, it works. It's pretty straightforward. So then everything comes through. You can customize whatever data that you want to use. And you can just start streamlining the process of customers going through your flow and allowing you to sort of curate whatever kind of conversational messaging piece that you want to use and streamline, what you want them to see from your team, whether it's going from the handoff between sales to account management and onboarding, or from account management and onboarding to being routed over to sales for like renewals, so on and so forth. The ideas are endless, but I hope that this has been open enough yet specific enough to give you guys a bit of direction, a bit of ideas, and some guidance on how you could use Make and HubSpot and some other platforms to really get some unique use out of your automations. All right, hope this is great. Talk to you guys later. See you another day. Deuces.